Hi, my name is Sydney and welcome to my May TBR and my April physical TBR challenge update. To make sure I'm getting through the books behind me and reading as diversely as possible, I don't have like a TBR jar or anything like that. I actually have a 5 category system that helps me pick out my books for each month. The 5 categories are Cultural Heritage Month and Identity Recognition Days, World Map Challenge, aka Read Around the World, 25 and 25, aka my priority TBR, continuous series, and just picking more books off my physical TBR. May is going to be a little bit tricky for me. I have quite a lot of books picked out. Most of them are on my physical TBR, which is just incredible, but I'm only in my apartment for about 2 weeks of the month and then I leave for an entire month. So we're gonna see how many of these books I can get through. And May did not make it easy on me at all. Now my first category this month is a lot because there are 2 heritage months and a recognition month, all in May. May is Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, Jewish American Heritage Month, and Mental Health Awareness Month. And I have a lot of books for all of these that I would like to read. For Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, I have 4 books picked out that I would love to get to. I definitely want to read Magic Has No Borders. It's a collection of magical South Asian tales. I've had this for a little while and I think it is just one of the coolest things ever. There are a ton of authors who contributed to this and I am so in love with these folk tales. I really want to get to this month. So I feel like that one is going to be prioritized. Also, the goal is obviously to read all of these books, but for my reading vlog, what I do is I read 1 per category, and if I get to the rest outside of the monthly reading vlog, then that'd be great. Next, I have The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by Axio. I bought this in a Waterstones like 3 years ago. Like, I have been wanting to read this book for so long. It's pretty short and I've heard the most wonderful things about it, and I think if I push myself this month, I might finally get to it. Deadly Storms, An Ancient Curse, Will Her Sacrifice Save Them All? This is my Illumicrate special edition of Watermoon. This is one of the books that for the first time ever, like when it got to me in subscription form, normally I'm like, cool, I'll get to them eventually, but this one I was like, I want to read this sooner rather than later. So I feel like there's a pretty good chance I get to it this month, and I'm gonna say that for all of them. Would you rewrite your destiny if it meant losing a part of your past? And lastly, I've had Dragon Fruit on my radar for so long, and this feels like the absolute perfect time to finally listen to it. So I'm gonna listen to this on my Libby app. For Jewish American Heritage Month, I think the one I'm most gonna prioritize is A Dark and Drowning Tide. This is another one of my Illumicrate special editions. I've never read it before. I would absolutely love to get to this. It is just one of the most beautiful books I own, and apparently it's sapphic and magical and like there's a lot of really good things going for it, and apparently there's also Jewish representation in here. And then these 2 books are both by Naomi Novik. I read them both in like May 2022, so it's been exactly 3 years since I've read them, and I've been wanting to reread them so badly, but because they're going to be rereads, they are super low on the priority list for this month. I would love to get to them. I have very fond memories of both of them, but we'll have to see. And for Mental Health Awareness Month, I have quite a few books that I could read. The one that stood out to me most when I was just browsing through articles that I was able to find at my local library is called Burnout: The Secret to Unlocking the Stress Cycle. But I'm gonna go to my library tonight and just kind of browse through their mental health awareness section and see if anything else sticks out to me. But as a solo female business owner, I have flirted with burnout many times in my life, so this is the one I'm most likely going to check out, but something else around that area might help me too. I used to read a lot of self-help books and business books, and that used to be a majority of what I read when I was first building my business, but I haven't really felt the desire to pick up a self-help book in a long time. But I'm kind of feeling like I should read one right now. This is where my life is going. Alright, so for category 2, my Read the World Challenge, this month I picked out Panama, which is a country in Central America that I've never been to before, and as I was researching a ton of books to potentially read for this month, most of them had to do with the Panama Canal or like Americans coming in, and I'm trying really hard to avoid books like that have Americans as like a central theme. I really want to read books about the people from that country written by the people of that country, and I had a kind of a hard time doing that for Panama. So if you have any other books, please let me know. But I was able to find a few, and the one I did end up finding was called The Great Divide by Christina Enriquez. This one is a historical fiction set in the time of building the Panama Canal. I tried to like not be so obvious, but it was just the one that really most stood out to me, and I was able to find it I was able to check it out from Libby to listen to this month. Third, my priority TBR, aka my 25 and 25. I am checking them off at a rate way slower than I should right now, and I've been putting off A Drop of Venom for a few months now. I keep having it as an option, but this month I am really feeling it. I really hope I get to it pretty soon, not only so I can check it off my priority TBR, but because I really want to get back into the Rick Riordan verse, and this just, it sounds like such a cool book. I want to read it. Category number 4 is continue a series. I am going to continue, it's going to work for Asian American Heritage Month too, the Singing Hills series by Nick Vo. I have been loving their books, and there is one more book that is out currently. I have a hold on that from my library. I would love to listen to that and kind of finish out what's currently published for that series so I can check it off as up to date. And also, I just love all of those books as they come out. I'll probably attempt to read other series, but that's the one I'm going to prioritize this month. And the last category is just pick another book off my physical TBR. These are books, I'm most likely going to get to these this month for another reading vlog that I'm going to do. These are the 3 that I have been putting off for months at this point. I've been wanting to read them and I just haven't had time to get to them yet. And then this is a book that I meant to read back in February and I never got to it. But if I don't get to any of these, I'm hoping to get to some of the others that I've already shown and just count them towards picking up my physical TBR. Like, I have multiple for Asian American Heritage Month. One of those is just gonna count. So we'll see how the reading vlog goes and how many books of those I've already gone through before we get to these. Like I said before, I have 2 weeks in my apartment with my books during my busiest time of year, so we'll see. And now for my physical TBR update. I keep a lot of statistics about the books behind me over in my reading spreadsheet, and sometimes the math doesn't exactly make sense, so I just ignore it. In the month of April, I did read 14 books, which is the most out of any month so far this year. I don't know how that happened, to be honest. I think it's because 3 of them ended up being DNFs, but I still read more than any other month so far, even though it was my busiest month. I don't really know. It is very sad though, because only 3 of those were on my physical TBR, so that sucks. I'm hoping obviously to get that number way up this month. I unhauled exactly 0 books last month, but I did acquire 9. First, I had 2 books come in. Oh, no, I didn't. First, I had 3 Barnes & Noble pre-orders arrive in the mail. The first one is Akatar cookbook. I love themed cookbooks like this. I think they're so fun. But this one is not included in my physical TBR because I don't include any of my cookbooks in that. So this is actually a 0. And then I had these 2 purple books arrive for me in the mail. I'm not sure if I'm going to read this anytime soon. I've always loved the series, and every time a new book comes out, I end up rereading everything, but I just do not have time for that right now. I will be getting to this immediately though. I went to the library at some point last month, and they always have a few books for sale, and so I found each of these for like $1 or $2, and they both look really fun. I've never heard about either of them. They both seem right up my alley, so they're both pretty short too, so maybe I'll get to them. And then I was taken to a used bookstore, cafe, vegan restaurant, this really cool place. I collect Graceling editions, and this is the edition of Fire that I don't yet have, but I've already read it, so it does not contribute to my physical TBR. And then I found, oh my god, I am so incredibly excited. This is an illustrated version of the Odyssey, and I've seen images of it online, and I saw it at this used bookstore, and I could not believe my eyes. I've never seen this before in person. It was like $5 or something. I am thrilled, like beyond thrilled to own this. And then I found Her Soul to Take in a little free library, and I was so excited. But when I was inputting it into my spreadsheet this morning, I opened it up to find the publishing information and realized that it starts on page 15. So somebody ripped out the first like 20 pages of this book. So I don't understand. I don't understand. So I'm probably gonna read the first bit in a library book or Kindle or something, and then continue it, and then I'm gonna have to get rid of it because it's missing the whole first chapter and like all the publishing information and stuff. I don't know. And then I got 2 Illumicrate books this month. Last month's was a little late, so I did end up getting it towards the middle of April, and then this is the one that just arrived a few days ago. They are both incredibly stunning, and I cannot wait to get to them both. So that brings my total up to 792 books owned. I am trying so very hard to keep my number of books owned under 800. It's a number I've been flirting with for a few months now. I had to do a huge unhaul last month because I went over that number, and here I am slowly climbing back towards it. So we're trying to keep our books to a minimum. It's not really working. So of those 792 books owned, 592 of them are unread. I've only read exactly 200 books behind me, and that in percentage is 25.3%. Now, I have been hoping to get to 25% for a while. I finally hit it last month. I'm not entirely sure how the percentage went up. Again, we're not going to question it. I'm just going to take it. My goal for the year is 35%, but I calculated that, and that means I need to read 77 books by the end of the year. But for every book that I acquire, I also have to read it. So I'm looking at more than 100 books off my physical TBR that I have to read for the rest of the year. And that is certainly going to be a challenge, but I'm going to do my best. I am hoping to do really well this month and read a ton of books on my physical TBR. That would be spectacular. So that is where I'm at right now with my books. I am still unfortunately still reading one last book from my April TBR reading vlog. And so I'm gonna get that up next. I did miss 2 weeks entirely of uploads. I upload twice a week because April is just insanely busy for me. Like I physically could not edit old videos. I could not put out new content. I just couldn't do it. So I'm hoping that this will pass a little bit and I'll be able to get more videos out back on a regular schedule. And I'm probably going to prioritize doing my May TBR reading vlog first so that I can get through those books and hopefully get that uploaded before I leave on my trips. That gives me 2 weeks. We'll see. I don't know. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.